Ever wondered why Iceland isn't just ice and Greenland isn't exactly green? Prepare to have your travel map and mind blown. Hello, gorgeous people, and welcome back. It's me, and today we're pulling back the curtain on the names you see plastered all over your holiday brochures. You know the ones. You book the flight, pack the sun cream, and you don't give a second thought to what Maldives or Barbados actually means. Well, you're about to. We're going on a little trip around the globe, not with a suitcase, but with a dictionary and a healthy dose of gossip, to uncover the hilarious, often downright misleading stories behind how our favorite hotspots got their names. It's a world of mistaken identity, clever marketing, and a few outright fibs. Now, you might think a name is just a name, a simple label. Oh, you couldn't be more wrong. These names are little time capsules, packed with an entire history of exploration, ancient languages, and sometimes a bit of cheeky marketing genius. It's like finding out your sophisticated friend Sebastian was actually called Bartholomew until he decided to rebrand himself for a better social life. We're about to expose the secret lives of countries and cities, revealing the playful, the poetic, and the downright bonkers origins that have shaped our world map. It's the ultimate geographical exposé. And trust me, you'll never look at your passport the same way again. So, where do we begin this grand tour of nomenclature nonsense? Well, we have to start with the most famous double act of geographical trickery, don't we? The original bait and switch of the North Atlantic. We're kicking things off with the ultimate paradoxes, Iceland and Greenland. We'll unravel the Viking saga that turned our expectations ice cold and our landscapes surprisingly verdant. So, grab a cuppa, get comfy, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. Pun absolutely intended, and the revelations are only going to get wilder from here. Let's dive in. Right, let's get into it. Iceland. You hear the name and you immediately picture a vast, desolate wasteland of ice, maybe a polar bear waving sadly from a lonely glacier. It's the kind of name that screams bring a very, very thick coat and a flask of something strong. But then you go, and you're met with these breathtakingly lush green fields, bubbling geothermal spas, and dramatic volcanic landscapes. It's more green than a St. Patrick's Day parade. So what's the story? Well, you have to thank a rather grumpy Viking named Floki Vilgerdarson. According to the old Norse sagas, our Floki sailed to this new land, had a bit of a tough first winter, climbed a mountain, and saw a fjord filled with icebergs. In a fit of pique, he slapped it with the name Island, Iceland. But here's the deliciously clever bit. Later Vikings, like the legendary Nadadur, who might have been there first, called it Snowland. But Iceland is the one that stuck. And why? Some historians believe it was a brilliant, if slightly dastardly bit of PR. By giving it such a harsh, uninviting name, they hoped to deter other nosy Vikings from coming over and trying to claim a piece of their rather lovely, resource-rich island. It was the ultimate nothing to see here, folks. Move along strategy. They basically put up a giant, frosty, keep out sign, and it worked a treat. All while they were secretly enjoying a geothermal spa day. The absolute cheek of it. Now, if Iceland was a case of don't come here, Greenland was the complete opposite. It was the world's first instance of property marketing spin, and the man behind it was Eric the Red. And oh, he was a character. After being banished from Iceland for, let's just say, a spot of manslaughter, Eric needed to find a new home. He sailed west and stumbled upon this colossal island, which, let's be honest, is about 80% ice. It's the very definition of an ice cap. Did that deter our Eric? Not a bit. He knew he couldn't settle this vast, chilly expanse on his own. He needed to convince his mates back in Iceland to pack up their sheep and follow him. So what did he do? He concocted the most wonderfully misleading name imaginable, Greenland. It's pure genius, isn't it? He sailed back to Iceland and sold them a dream. He told them of a land of rolling green hills and endless opportunity, a place where a Viking could really make a name for himself. The name itself was an invitation, a promise of fertile pastures and a better life. And people bought it. They packed their longships and followed him, hook, line, and sinker, to this green land. It's the ultimate lesson in branding. It doesn't matter what the product is, as long as the packaging is appealing. Eric the Red wasn't just an explorer, he was the world's first estate agent. Now, while the Vikings were playing their clever name games with Iceland and Greenland, they kept things refreshingly simple elsewhere. Take a little hop over to the Faroe Islands, that stunningly dramatic archipelago sitting pretty between Norway and Iceland. You look at these cliffs plunging into the sea, the turf-roofed houses, the mist. It feels mystical, like it should be called Dragon's Tooth, or the land of perpetual fog. But no, the Vikings took one look around, saw what was wandering about, and called it a day. Faroyar, the Old Norse name, translates quite literally to Sheep Islands. That's it. There's a certain blunt honesty to it that you have to admire, isn't there? No marketing spin, no attempt to lure or deter, just a simple factual statement. There are a lot of sheep here. It's the geographical equivalent of calling your dog dog. It's wonderfully straightforward. It's as if the Viking who named it had used up all his creative energy on the bigger islands and just thought, right, what have we got? Sheep. Lots of them. Sheep Islands it is. Now, where's the pub? It serves as a hilarious contrast to the elaborate fibs being told just a few hundred miles away. One brother is a poet, the other's an accountant. And the delightful directness doesn't stop in the middle of the ocean. Let's pop over to the fabulous city of Helsinki. You think of it now, and you picture this hub of chic design, stunning architecture, and effortlessly cool Finns. It's a city that exudes style. You'd imagine its name would mean something terribly grand, like Crown of the North, or the White City of the Baltic, which is one of its nicknames, to be fair. But the original name, the one that started it all, is a little more damp. The city was founded by a Swedish king, Gustav I, who wanted to compete with the nearby city of Tallinn. He established the town at the mouth of the Vanta River, and the area was, to put it mildly, a bit marshy. The name Helsinki is believed to come from the Swedish Helsingfors. Fors means rapids, which makes sense for the river. But Helsing, the leading theory is that it comes from an old Swedish word, hals, meaning neck or narrow passage, referring to the river rapids. So, the rapids at the narrow passage. It's a name born of pure geography, not poetry. It's a reminder that even the most glamorous of cities often start life as a slightly soggy, purely functional settlement. It's like finding out a supermodel's name is actually Boggy. Alright, let's leave the chilly north and head somewhere with a bit more pasta and passion. Rome, the eternal city. When you think of Rome, you think of Romulus and Remus, the twin brothers suckled by a she-wolf. A story of murder, gods, and founding a dynasty. It's the most famous origin story in the world, practically. We all assume the city is named for its legendary founder, Romulus. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It's dramatic, it's memorable, it involves wolves. But what if I told you that might be completely backwards? What if Romulus was named after Rome, and not the other way around? Stick with me. Some linguists and historians have a fascinating alternative theory. They believe the name Rome might predate the whole Wolf and Twins saga. The theory goes that the name actually comes from an ancient, possibly Etruscan word, ruma. And what does ruma mean? It's believed to mean river, or the one who flows. It's a name for the city's lifeblood, the Tiber River. So the city was the river city, and from there, the people became the Romans. And to explain it all, they cooked up this fabulous story about a founder conveniently named Romulus. It's like the city's name came first, and the mythology was just the screenplay written afterwards. Staying in Italy, because why wouldn't you, let's float over to Venice. La Serenissima. There is nowhere else on earth quite like it. A city built on water, of canals and gondolas, of impossible beauty and a constant, gentle lapping of waves. Its name feels as romantic and unique as the city itself. But where did it come from? The most popular theory links it to a pre-Roman people called the Veneti. These were an ancient tribe who lived in the northeastern region of Italy, known as Venetia, long before the first piles were driven into the lagoon. When people fled the mainland to escape barbarian invasions, they settled in the marshy lagoon, and brought the name of their homeland with them. So, the city of Venice is named after the Veneti people. Simple enough. But wait, there's another, more poetic layer, as there always is with Italy. Some scholars suggest the name Veneti itself might be even older, perhaps from a Proto-Indo-European root, ven, which means to love, or to wish. So Venice could be the lovable land. Another theory, however, connects it to a root word related to wetness, or swamp, which, let's be honest, is a bit more on the nose. I prefer the love story, obviously, but whether it's the land of the Veneti people or the big wet place, it perfectly captures a city born from the water. Let's jet over to a city that is the absolute definition of a modern marvel, Singapore, the Lion City. The name is so evocative, so powerful. You see the Merlion statue, spouting water into Marina Bay, and it all fits perfectly. The story goes that in the 14th century, a Sumatran prince named Sang Nila Utama landed on the island, which was then called Temasek. Shortly after arriving, he saw a magnificent, majestic beast with a red body, black head, and white breast. His advisor told him it was a lion. Overcome by this powerful omen, the prince decided to found a city right there, naming it Singapura, Lion City in Sanskrit. It's a fantastic story. The only tiny little insignificant problem with it is, there have never been any lions in Singapore. Not native ones, anyway. They're not indigenous to the region at all. So what did our prince actually see? Most historians think it was almost certainly a Malayan tiger, which were once common in the area. So was it a simple case of mistaken identity? A prince who wasn't exactly a zoologist? Or was it perhaps a bit of clever aspirational branding? Naming your new city Tiger City is good, but Lion City just has that extra ring of regal power and authority. It was a name that projected strength and royalty from the very beginning, even if it was based on a bit of a feline faux pas. For our last stop on this leg of the tour, we're heading to the passionate, vibrant heart of Argentina, Buenos Aires. The name itself sounds so poetic, doesn't it? Good airs. It conjures images of clear blue skies, a gentle, fragrant breeze blowing through the jacaranda trees, a city free from the smog and pollution of modern life. You'd think the founders arrived, took a deep, cleansing breath, and declared, "Ah, what good air! Let's name the city after it." It's a lovely thought, but the reality is a little less about air quality and a lot more about a prayer of thanks. The name's origin lies with the Spanish sailors who first established a settlement there in the 16th century. The full original name was Real de Nuestra Señora Santa María del Buen Aire, Royal Encampment of Our Lady Saint Mary of the Good Air. It was named in honor of the Virgin Mary, specifically a patron saint of sailors from Sardinia, the Virgin of Bonaria, or Good Wind. For sailors who had just survived a treacherous, stomach-churning crossing of the Atlantic, arriving in a calm bay with favorable winds was a literal godsend. The good airs weren't about the freshness of the atmosphere, but the kindness of the winds that had brought them safely to shore. It was a sigh of relief, immortalized in a city's name. These names are fascinating, aren't they? A mix of marketing, mistakes, and heartfelt thanks. But some destinations have origins so bizarre they almost sound made up. Let's uncover the truly outlandish. Take Australia. For centuries, European cartographers were obsessed with the idea of a massive, undiscovered landmass promoso in the southern hemisphere to balance the globe. They called this hypothetical place Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land. When explorers finally properly charted it, the name just stuck. They basically named an entire continent the big unknown thing down south. It's like finding your keys and continuing to call them My Lost Keys forever. And then there's Dubai, the city of glittering superlatives. Its name is a bit more mysterious, but one of the most compelling theories is that it comes from an old Arabic word, daba, which refers to a swarm of locusts. Now, stick with me. The word Dubai could be a diminutive, meaning little locust or small swarm. This might not refer to the insects themselves, but to the way early settlers swarmed and settled the area along the creek, or perhaps even the way money and trade flowed through the early port. So, One of the world's richest cities might be named after a tiny, swarming insect. Isn't that just fabulous? From little locust to Lamborghinis. What a glow-up. From icy fibs to windy prayers, it just shows that behind every pin on the map, there's a story waiting to be told. So, which destination's name surprised you the most? Was it Rome's river secret or Singapore's mistaken lion? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading them. And if you want to uncover more of these linguistic oddities and historical shenanigans, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss our next adventure into the surprising stories behind everyday things. Thanks for watching, darlings. See you next time.